Hey there, it's your boy Foxy, back for more relationship stories. Update. Had a threesomething with FWB, now she wants a relationship while I don't. Original post. She 28 female, has been in a friends with benefits relationship with me 27 male for the past year. Recently she told me that one of her fantasies is to have a MFM threesomething, and after some deliberation I agreed. We did it around 2 weeks ago, and I thought that was it. But yesterday, my FWB really surprised me by saying that she wants an exclusive relationship with me. Now I will be honest. I had asked her once or twice to become my girlfriend in the past, but she said she isn't ready. Now she is ready, but how do I tell her that I literally saw her be intimate with someone else right in front of my eyes, and I am not likely to forget that. Yes, we were not exclusive, but feelings were there. And I was able to convince myself of the group activity only after telling myself that we will never actually be in a relationship. I would never agree to a threesomething with someone I am dating. But how do I tell her all this without coming across as hurtful? Now for the top advice before reading the update. I think it's time to move on, buddy. Just say as much, ultimately you will hurt her, but that's how rejection works, and there's no way really around it. By the way, don't mention the threesomething, that's just asking for trouble. So, do I just say I'm not ready for a relationship with her? What if she asks what changed? Probably not, because that would mean you would likely be open to it in the future, which sounds like it is not the case. I would be honest, but it's up to you. Being honest here would likely just cause more drama. I was interested in a relationship with you, but ever since you told me that you weren't, I worked on letting go of my desire for that relationship. The only reason I accepted to do the threesomething was that I had accepted we wouldn't ever be in a relationship together, and I would have never accepted it if I knew a relationship was possible otherwise. But since it happened, I'm no longer comfortable with pursuing any romantic relationship. You can't control how she feels, all you can do is be honest about your situation. Since emotions are getting messy on both ends, I think it's best to sunset this situationship and move on. Thank you for not posting a generic comment like, communicate with her, and actually helping OP with the words. I agree that most problems posted here could have been easily solved had OP communicated with their partner, but people here don't realize that conveying one's emotions in the right words is not everyone's cup of tea. So, thank you for actually helping. It's not hurtful. You can and should tell her exactly that this is the reason you cannot have a relationship with her other than FWB, that you made peace with you two not being together. It's also a major red flag that she wants that after the group activity for a multitude of reasons. I would advise you to just be honest. She used you in a way. I don't think now I can even be in an FWB with her. It's getting complicated, and we both will get hurt. In fact, I will not have an FWB from now on. And now for the update. So I told her what most of you guys suggested. That my desire for a serious relationship with her ended after she turned me down 2 times. She then asked me why was I saying that I would start a relationship with her in a heartbeat if she asked. So I lied and said I was joking. She also asked if the group activity had anything to do with my decision, and I said no, my decision was made long before that. I don't think she was convinced with my answer, but I stuck to it. She tried to argue that we will make a very good couple, but I just told her it's not a possibility. I also told her that we should put our friendship on hold for some time, till the feelings subside and we actually see each other as friends rather than possible romantic partners. It goes without saying that our FWB arrangement is done, and I have decided that FWB is not for me. I can't keep feelings separate from the intimate act, and it would only be harmful to me. Thank you to everyone who chimed in with advice. That's some very mature reflecting on your own feelings about intimacy. Best of luck to you, mate. Thank you, and the only reason I accepted the FWB was because I thought I could change her mind. Stupid, I know, but at the time, I really wanted to be in a relationship with her. Now I realize you can't make someone love you, it should be mutual. Ironically, I think it did change her mind, hence why she asked for a relationship after. But it also changed your mind too. I don't know, I think honesty here would have been best. You state elsewhere you think it would have been cruel. I disagree. It may have been a bit of a hard pill to swallow, but people don't grow if they don't have the truth. Nothing wrong was done per se, but I think it's fair to tell her you were interested, went along with the FWB because she wasn't interested in anything serious. However, due to the other guy involved, you can't see this turning into anything serious after the fact. That isn't cruelty, that's just honesty. It would absolutely be cruel and unnecessary. She seems to have enjoyed the group activity and felt closer to OP because of it. She shouldn't have to add OP's baggage onto her experience after the fact. It won't do her any good, it'll just make her afraid to try new things or pursue this same thing again. The issue with the group activity was more than him seeing another dude bang her. She turned him down for a relationship twice. Additionally, the timing is suspect. She waited till she got her fun before asking to settle down and go exclusive. Gosh, do you think he'd have agreed to it if they'd gone exclusive first? Nope. But she cozied up to the idea of exclusivity and thought she could game the relationship with one last fling before closing that door. Good for OP, hope it was worth it FWB. Sure, it could be that she turned him down twice, but I'm pretty sure also seeing another person sleep with your love interest is a potential relationship ender for a lot of people. For some, it's a hard ending, and for others it's a strong kink. Sounds like OP and his FWB were never as compatible as either of them thought. Now for the second story. Update. Our marriage has been horrible for the past year. Wife's sister recently moved in, we have a lot of fun together. And it made me realize how unhappy I am in my marriage, and I want a divorce. Original post. My wife 36 female and I 31 male have been married for 3 years. Our marriage has been horrible for me in the last year. My wife is always angry, negative, lazy, and blames everything that goes slightly wrong in her life on somebody else except herself. I'm a very outgoing and motivated person and like to go out a lot. My wife is less outgoing, but used to always try make an effort to go out together and have fun. For the past year, she hasn't done anything in our marriage. She is addicted to her phone and TikTok and barely pays attention when I'm talking or we are doing something. We barely go out anymore, and if we do, she always finds something to get angry at, like a waiter taking a little too long. When we are out eating, she is on her phone watching TikToks and barely communicating with me. She always wakes up moody and angry and destroys the whole vibe. She curses in every other sentence she says, and huffs and puffs if she has to do something that normal grown adults have to. We have also not been intimate for the past 6 months, and it doesn't look like something is going to change. I always tell her how much I appreciate her and that I love her and try to do things together. But she always shuts me down when I suggest doing something because she is tired, but then proceeds to watch Netflix until 2 in the morning. She never even shows any affection or appreciation towards me. For the past year I have tried to communicate to her that something needs to change in our marriage, but she just gets angry and avoids the conversation instead of talking. It has gotten to the point that I have stopped caring about our marriage and have just been going along and focusing on my personal life and goals. My wife's sister Lisa has recently gotten out of a long-term relationship and has moved in with us temporarily. Lisa is the complete opposite of my wife. She is happy, vibrant, talks and just fun to be around. Ever since she moved in, we have been spending a lot of time together because my wife doesn't do anything else than watch Netflix and talking to her friends on FaceTime when she is home. On the rare occasions she is not doing one of these things, she is out with her friends. Lisa is a very active person, so we do a lot of activities together. She joins me when I go to the park to get some fresh air, she helps me cook when I'm preparing dinner, and even works out with me in my home gym. I always try to get my wife to tag along with us, but she never does. Spending all this time with Lisa has totally changed my mood. Being around a person that is positive and doesn't complain about every single thing in their life is so refreshing and fun. But don't get the wrong idea, we have never done anything inappropriate, we have just become really good friends that lift each other up. The past couple of months since Lisa moved in have made me realize how unhappy I'm in my marriage. Having someone around you that is constantly complaining, cursing, and angry drains every bit of energy you have. It's depressing, and that's not how I want my life to be. I want to be with someone positive who shows that they care about me and want to have new experiences together with me. I have tried so hard for the past year to make my marriage work with my wife, but I just get shut down. I don't feel loved anymore and appreciated, and I don't want to be in this position anymore. I want a divorce so I can move on with my life and find someone who actually loves me and cares for me. I have officially checked out of my marriage and don't want to turn back anymore. I'm just not completely sure how I should go about the situation now. I know for a fact that I'm going to get trashed by friends and her family for leaving my wife, and that I'm somehow going to come out as the bad guy. I want this process to be as clean as possible, but I'm not sure how. Now for the top advice before reading the update. The way she is behaving may be indications of her resorting to escapism due to diminishing mental well-being. Perhaps you and her sister can compose an action plan to approach her gently so she can seek professional help. Remember, your feelings are completely valid. When someone you love experiences mental health issues, it usually drags you down too. So, please consider taking up individual therapy too, and perhaps couple therapy sometime too. I know for a fact that I'm going to get trashed by friends and her family for leaving my wife, and that I'm somehow going to come out as the bad guy. Other people aren't living your life. Don't concern yourself with what they'll think or do. I want this process to be as clean as possible, but I'm not sure how. Except it will probably get messy. Life does. You won't just shake hands and part ways. There will be tears and heartache. Don't pursue her sister even after your divorce. Just move on. I guess I'm going to have to prepare myself for a rough time and be prepared to lose some friends. And don't forget the advice about not pursuing the sister. Never, ever, ever. Get divorced, but don't pursue the sister. That's a disaster waiting to happen. I don't want to pursue the sister, I just want to get out of my marriage as clean as possible. Contact a divorce lawyer. Don't make any promises or move out or anything before you talk to someone. There's never a clean way to divorce someone who's already angry and bitter. The best you can do is make sure you're protecting yourself legally and try to remain calm if and when she freaks out. And now for the update. My first post got a lot of traction. I appreciate all the supportive messages I have gotten, and especially all the people sharing their own experience. You definitely helped me to get some perspective in the matter. The past couple of days I have been able to clear my head about my marriage. I realized that this is not how I want to spend the rest of my life. I want to be with someone who cares about me and loves me. She clearly doesn't. I want to be with someone who respects me enough to put her phone down when we are having dinner and I'm trying to talk to her and isn't ignoring me to watch TikToks. But I'm done trying and getting nothing in return. I am done giving it my all and getting nothing back. I have been trying to communicate and make things better for a whole year and have been completely neglected. I still have love for my wife, but I'm not in love with her anymore. I want to move on with my life and find the right one for me and lead a happy life. I have already been in contact with my divorce attorney and am getting the process started. I turned 32 2 days ago, and my wife didn't even acknowledge my existence. Instead, she went out with her friends that night. Even her sister remembered my birthday and got me a present. She was even shocked that my wife ignored my birthday like this. We ended up having dinner together at a restaurant, and she even paid for the both of us. I didn't even feel the need to mention my birthday to my wife, because I knew that at this point she didn't really care. This really made me lock my decision. I don't care if she is depressed or not, if she doesn't even care enough about me to remember and acknowledge my birthday and would rather go out with her friends, I don't want to be with her. People kept saying that we should go to counseling and therapy to patch things out. For the past year, I have been trying to get my wife to couples therapy with me, but she just refuses and gets angry with me as always. I have tried everything I could have thought of to make my marriage work, but she pretty much shuts down everything I try. I've tried so hard to make my marriage work and put in so much effort, but now I have had enough of it. A lot of people tried to diagnose my wife with depression in my previous post, but I'm not a medical professional, so I can only talk from my perspective. To me, it seemed like she was living her own life without me, and that she would get frustrated with everything I got involved in. I'm not going to say if she has or doesn't have depression. That's not for me to determine. Whether she has it or not, I don't find that a valid excuse to treat me the way she has been for the past year. She didn't even have the respect to communicate and talk to me like a decent human being, instead of being on her phone or ignoring me. If she has depression, she'll have to figure that out on her own without me. A lot of people were also suggesting that I just want a divorce to get with her sister. That's not true. I want a divorce so I can get myself out of this miserable marriage, and so I can move on with my life. I have no plan pursuing her sister. I'm getting this divorce for my own well-being. Lisa said that she finds the divorce unfortunate, but that she supports my decision. She even suggested that we stay friends after because we get along great. When I told her that I was divorcing her, some little bit in me hoped she would realize what has been happening in the past year and try to apologize and make things good again or something. Instead, she started getting angry with me and started yelling at me. As always, instead of taking responsibility, she started blaming me. At this point, I stopped caring and didn't respond to all her yelling. I told her that my decision was final. I also suggested her to see a medical professional to figure her possible depression out, but what she does with that advice is really none of my concern. Lisa knew something was up and tried to talk with my wife about what was going on, but pretty much got dismissed and yelled at for getting her nose in our business. For now, I'll be sleeping on the couch and living my own life. Lisa informed me that she is moving out and was able to find a place, so I'll be taking the guest bedroom when she gets out. I'm in the middle of trying to figure things out with my lawyer, and hopefully we will be able to move fast in this divorce, but probably not. I'm mentally preparing myself for everything that will happen to me socially, and I accept that. I just want this to be over so I can move on with my life. OP, do not be at all surprised when your wife suddenly announces that she has a new boyfriend. All of her actions towards you points to her having found someone else. The way she treats you, the way she apportions blame, the dead bedroom, and the lack of respect towards you, all of it are indicators of an affair. Good luck with the divorce, and I hope that you can just amicably walk away and into a better life. It does read like an affair, but the fact that she's mad about the divorce, as opposed to happy or okay with it, personally points to it being an affair with someone that doesn't want an actual relationship with her. If she was having an affair with a single person, this basically frees her up. If she's having an affair with someone that actually doesn't want to be in a real relationship with her and she's single, that's a hit to the ego. At this point, I don't care what she might have been doing behind my back, I just want to get this over with, as quick and clean as possible. I believe him that he's not romantically interested in the sister, but he's discovered that it's nice to live with a pleasant person. Being appreciated is underappreciated. Depression can explain behavior, but never excuses it. Divorce is the correct choice. You can't make someone happy that doesn't want to be happy. And I've suffered from depression for years, and while yes, I'm more angry and disconnected, I'm also always very concerned about my husband as he's been my anchor in the worst depression. So I totally agree that it might explain a bunch of what's going in and the fact that she changed, but it didn't excuse her choices at all. Hey there, it's your boy Foxy, back for more relationship stories. Update 2. My own sister made false accusations against me because I refused to supply alcohol for her party. Original post. This happened some years ago. I'm in my 30s now, but back then I was 22. My sister was 18 and was my mom's golden child. My dad thankfully has a good head on his shoulders and always called my sister out on her nonsense. But my mom's interference always meant my sister got off easy anyway, and this is what happened back then. My parents decided to take a vacation to ski in Aspen and let my sister watch the house for them. They told her no parties, but that was a rule she straight up ignored. A day after our parents left, my sister started sending out invites to a party, and she was promising free alcohol. I didn't see that post just yet, but my sister called me and asked me to go get alcohol for her party because I was over 21 and could legally buy it. She also wanted me to pay for it, and said she'd invite me to the party and introduce me to an easy girl in order to pay me back. I told her that I wasn't going to break the law to make her happy. She should never have told people her party would have alcohol. She screamed at me over the phone that I was ruining her life, and that she couldn't take back the invites now that they were all over her Facebook. I looked at her post and face-palmed, told her that what she did was really stupid, and she and her friends were all underage, so it's illegal. She tried to say it would only be illegal if I narc on them. I said I wouldn't narc, but I wasn't going to buy her booze either. She screamed at me some more, so I hung up the phone. Well, that night my sister had the party, and someone called the police for underage drinking. After being arrested and confronted by police later on, my sister threw me under the bus and said that I'd supplied the alcohol she was using. Turns out she actually broke into Dad's liquor cabinet and thought it'd be better to frame me for her crime. Police came and arrested me at my apartment the day after the party. They seemed already convinced I was guilty and didn't really listen to me when I said I was never there. But I willingly cooperated with them. At the station, I told them the whole story and got them to look at my sister's Facebook post. Thankfully, there were a few people there who listened to me, but I still had to sit the night out in a cell while my parents were called. My mom and dad flew back home overnight and bailed out both my sister and I, but my mom tried to make my dad leave me in jail because my sister had told them her lies as well. But my dad took the time to talk to me and look at my sister's Facebook, so he believed me. This caused a fight between him and my mom. When they got home, my dad discovered my sister had broken into his liquor cabinet and spoke to police on my behalf. My mom, however, still wanted the blame to fall on me because, as she put it, the charges were ruining her baby's future. But my innocence was further proven by the fact that I and my car were seen on CCTV when I left work, and when I arrived at home soon after, as the apartment I was living in then had CCTV cameras to watch the parking lot. My car did not move from there for the rest of the day and night, while in my sister's story to police, I had driven out and gotten the alcohol for her. But I wasn't seen on CCTV in any liquor store in the county, and my bank account showed no transactions buying alcohol. My parents' house also had a camera at the front door, and my car was never seen in the driveway that day. After being confronted with those facts, my sister's story changed to saying I already had the alcohol and gave it to her at my apartment. But my sister's car had never showed up at my apartment either, and there was like 3 cheap beers in my apartment fridge, and no hard alcohol. My sister finally had to give up on her lies, and my parents were severely disappointed in her. But my mom still tried to convince me to take the fall for my sister. She came to my apartment and actually demanded that I tell police that it was all my fault. I said I wasn't going to ruin my future for my sister. She refused to leave and went from demanding to begging. She even got on her knees and tried to convince me that she and my dad would make everything okay in the long run if I just took the blame now. I said I'd rather live my life poor than have that felony on my record. She threw a huge fit and started throwing things because I refused to do as she wanted. I threatened to call police, and she left my apartment cussing me out like a mad woman. I've never heard so many F-bombs out of her before or since, but she kept them up all the way to her car and followed it up with saying she should have aborted me before driving off. I called my dad right away and told him everything that happened. He was insanely pissed and got in a huge fight with my mom as soon as she got home. She didn't even deny anything she said or did because she deemed it would have been for the greater good of their daughter. But my dad told her that she couldn't destroy me to save my sister. Then he threatened to divorce her if she didn't try to make things right. She ended up sobbing and then saying she'd do whatever he wanted. My dad said that it was couples and family counseling, or it was divorce. My mom signed a prenup before she married him and really had no choice. In the family counseling, I called her out on how she always believed my sister's lies. My sister tried to say they were not lies, but each one I pointed out from over the years said otherwise. I'd taken the time to write a list of all the ones I could remember from the past decade that had all been proven she lied. And my mom and sister were forced to stay silent as I read them all. They tried to interject repeatedly, but my dad and the counselor silenced them. My sister, now proven beyond a doubt to be a liar and a manipulator, just shut down and refused to say anything more to the counselor, and my mom finally apologized to me. But it was obviously a forced apology because she looked so uncomfortable doing it. I told her that her apology was very fake, and after so many years of favoritism, the damage was already done. My relationship with her never really recovered because she was convinced I was guilty no matter what was said until my sister admitted the truth and then wanted me to pretend to be the guilty one anyway to protect her favorite child. But nothing went her way, so she just went back to crying about it. When my sister went to court, my mom pleaded with the judge to go easy on my sister for the charges of underage drinking and giving other underage people alcohol, as well as attempting to frame me for her crime. She also resisted arrest when the police came and shut down the party. She was very drunk when it happened. They kept her in a cell overnight to sober up, and then she told police I'd been the one to provide the alcohol. My mom's begging, along with the relentless lawyer my parents hired, got the judge to cut a deal, provided my sister plead guilty, which she did not want to do, but her lawyer highly recommended she take said deal to avoid jail time, because there was no other way of keeping her from getting a felony on her record. My sister's lawyer used the fact that the alcohol had not been bought that day, but rather had already been in the house long before the party happened to help lessen the charges. My sister's Facebook had also been completely deleted by her as soon as she was able to, in order to hide the post. The judge just wanted the case over with, so my sister got off with a huge fine that our mom paid most of out of her own pocket and a couple years probation. She was also made to get therapy too by our dad. She's never really showed actual remorse for what she did though, and only had animosity for me, no matter how in the wrong she was. She was eventually diagnosed as a narcissist after dad made her go see a doctor. After her probation and 4 years of college were over, sister decided she was going to leave home for California and never come back once she landed a good job. She currently works in an office in LA, and we've not spoken in years. Dad got her that job, and she's not shown any real appreciation for it. Even my mom has given up on her ever coming home for the holidays and us being a family again. It tore her up inside for a few years, but now she's just bitter. She doesn't really blame me anymore, but we only seem to show indifference to each other. Just because my sister cut her off wouldn't make me the new de facto favorite. It just means my mom lost her baby and isn't getting her back. She can't leave my dad because she's too reliant on him, despite having her own career. She'd never want to be on her own again, so she's just become a shell of her former self. Things between me and my dad are still great. He's pretty much disowned my sister for what she's done, and has stopped caring if she'll ever talk to him again. He and my mom don't even sleep in the same bedroom anymore. She moved into the guest room some 5 years ago and has stayed there. Their marriage is really only on paper these days. Info: it's a felony or misdemeanor to provide alcohol minors, and my sister provided stolen alcohol to at least a dozen people who were under 21. Then she resisted arrest and tried to frame me by lying to the police. The fact that she got off easy thanks to the shark-toothed lawyer my parents hired for my sister was incredibly lucky. Not that she was ever appreciative. The judge hit her with a fine for each person she gave alcohol to, which added up, and with the cost of the lawyer, well, my parents were out a lot of money. Edit. Yes, my parents are wealthy, especially my dad, as he's a business owner. He owns several businesses actually, one big one and a few smaller ones. He even owns one of the local gas stations, and the town we live in is full of bored police that are just itching to get some action. I also heard that a couple of the minors arrested at that party were the kids of cops as well, which did not help my odds when the cops came for me. The reason the investigation went as far as it did is because my dad pushed it through. I also went out of my way to provide some of the evidence, like the CCTV from my job, my apartment complex, and my bank statements showing I didn't buy the alcohol. The rest my dad pushed for. He had a lawyer get the CCTV from every liquor store in the county for that day, though my mom tried to talk him out of doing so. In the end, this took way too much to prove my sister was a liar, because she tried to stick to her story hard, even after my parents discovered she got the alcohol from Dad's liquor cabinet. And yes, my parents lost a ton of money basically paying off the court to dismiss most of my sister's charges. My sister had to pay like 10%, that's about it. And that's just a little bit my parents made her pay. They still paid for her college after that as well, so people calling this out as rich people drama are exactly right, because it is just that. At the time this went on, I was still in college myself, but my dad insisted I have a part-time job to learn the value of work, and he was exactly right about that. My family is wealthy, but my dad tried to keep me from acting spoiled growing up. I even bought my own first car with money I earned working part-time. But I can't say the same for my sister, as my mom treated her like a princess. The rest of the family as a whole also hates my sister after what she did back then. So there wasn't much love lost when she ghosted us, save for my mom. She cried about it often for an entire year. Edit 2. Yes, this happened in the US. And yes, it was stupid the way police arrested me. My dad had some pretty strong words with them about that, but I guess the cops had nothing better to do. And the arrest was expunged from my record after I was proven innocent. But as someone in the comments pointed out, it's scary how easily your freedom can be taken away. I've instinctively avoided police ever since that happened. For them arresting the son of a rich guy must have been a big scandal waiting to happen. And no one was injured as a result of DUI. But I've spoken with my dad and he said there were a few DUIs because a few of the minors there got in their cars and tried to drive away. Considering I heard a few of the people there were the kids of police officers, that only made things worse for me. The cops that arrested me both looked middle-aged, so if their kids were involved, that may explain why they treated me like I was guilty. Those who say this is fake, I wish it was. Because it's so stupid that it really should be. But my ungrateful sister broke our family, and she nearly destroyed my reputation as well. These days everyone in town has forgotten her. She lost most if not all of her friends after that party because they were all arrested. Your sister sounds like Cersei Lannister. Nah man, you're doing Cersei dirty. She had a goal and a plan. And was a lot smarter than Sis. Cersei would have thought ahead about the CCTVs, bank card transactions, etc. I hope your dad divorces your mom so he can be free again. Sorry, your mom and sister are both narcissists. I feel like the father just purposely not divorcing due to 1, not pay any more court or lawyer fees after that mess with the sister, and 2, keeping eye on the mother in case OP has a wedding, so she can't pull another crap show on OP. Especially since prenup is in the father's favor, otherwise, he would have divorced the mother with no second chances after the things she said to OP. Reading your comment has me thinking you may be right. Not divorcing my mom may be my dad's way of keeping her at arm's length, so she can't do more harm. You should have sued the police for false arrest too. The arrest was expunged from my record, so I didn't take it any further. And now for the update. I expected to be able to log out of this account and just not come back, but it seems my sister saw my original post on YouTube. She's since called home and attempted to raise hellfire. She contacted our mother in a furious rage and saying that I've humiliated her. And in a complete shock to me, my mom did not care. My sister told her how to find the post, and she read it, and now she was mad at me. But more so because she felt I made her look like a bad mother all over again. But my dad got involved and said it wasn't like I was lying. Because back then, the things she and my sister did were inexcusable. My mom agreed in a very sad way, but still said she wished I'd never posted the story. I suppose I couldn't fault her for that. I ended up talking to my sister over the phone because our mom gave her my current number. And the first thing she did when I answered was scream in my ear. I stopped the call because of the screaming, and so the call was followed by a flurry of text messages. My sister demanded I take my original post down. I refused. She threatened to get our parents to make me take it down. But our parents by this time already knew about the post, and among them, our dad does not care, and our mom is more mad that I made her look like a bad mother all over again. So, she threatened to get a lawyer and sue me for defamation. I told her to go right ahead. My post was made anonymously, and if she sues, then a lot of people are going to find out my post was about her. She asked if that was a threat. I said no, it's just something that'll likely happen if people dig more into both of our pasts if she starts a lawsuit. It might even affect her career. Rather than responding in text, my sister called me again, and I told her I'd hang up and block her if she screamed in my ear one more time. She angrily demanded I just take my original post down again or else. I pointed out that this is the first time we've spoken in 6 years, and she had no problem throwing me under the bus in the past anytime she could, and now she's mad because her own actions are reflecting poorly on her when no one else knows the story was about her but us. And I really didn't care what she thought of me anymore. Dad has pretty much disowned her, and she destroyed all the golden child love our mother had for her. My sister actually denied being a golden child, so I started to explain exactly what one was. She interrupted me saying that she's on Reddit all the time, she knows what a golden child is. And I could only laugh at the fact that she knows that, and still denied having been one. I pointed out all the things from my first post. How she lied so much, how she always had our mother on her side, and how she was openly our mom's favorite, and how she expected everything to be handed to her. She was a golden child. There's just no denying that. Well, she took this very personally, and said that she wished our mother had aborted me, just like she'd said all those years ago when I refused to take the blame for my sister's crime. I just laughed some more, and asked if that was all she had in her little black book of bad insults. She did not find it amusing that I found it so amusing. I fired back about how she is a self-important narcissist, and always will be. She milked our parents for so much, and had no appreciation for it. Right down to that well-paying LA office job she's working that Dad got her. She scoffed at me and said she got that job on her own merit. I laughed again. No, she did not. Suddenly a well-connected LA firm scouted her several states away after college to come work for them, when she had no prior experience as an intern. It just doesn't happen. The old CEO of that company was a friend of our dad's before he passed away, and Dad called in a favor. That's how she got that job. My sister of course went into more denial about the truth I just presented her, but I guess it finally clicked in her mind that I was correct. She's a narcissist, but she's not dumb. So she just started bragging about how well she's been doing at that job. She made it to assistant manager and is set to be next in line for full manager someday. I was unimpressed, and she demanded to know why. So I pointed out that I've moved on to managing one of Dad's smaller businesses entirely. Sure, it was a technically promotion through nepotism, but I worked hard to earn it. And Dad has openly stated that when he someday passes away, I'm to inherit everything. Not that I'm clamoring for it, like she undoubtedly would. I actually want our dad to live a good long time. She was so angry that she hung up on me and then called our parents again. She asked Dad if she had really been disinherited, and they confirmed she was. Dad's will is set to leave her only a small settlement so she can't contest it. And if she were to try and contest it, she'd automatically get nothing. Even our mom's will has basically written my sister out. My sister ended up crying, saying it wasn't fair, but both of our parents pointed out that her framing me all those years ago wasn't fair. Ghosting them after they paid so much money to keep her from getting a felony, and putting her through 4 years of college was unfair. They had nothing left they wanted to give. My sister ended up blocking us all, from phones to social media. We can't see anything now, but we don't really care. My mom has sat me down and gave me a long-awaited and more sincere apology for what happened so long ago. Especially for that day she tried to make me take the blame for my sister. Years without my sister in her life, and the recent incident, has made her realize more than ever that she was a terrible mother to us both. And she can't undo anything, but she wanted to at least say she was incredibly sorry. And that she loved me, she's just been too ashamed to really show it. She's now finally looking into therapy, and she's even making an effort to spend more time with my dad like in the old days. It's ironic really. My sister tore our family apart, and then she somehow put it right back together by being the same kind of nasty person she's always been. So sis, if you see this post, and I bet you will, don't bother trying to contact us again. Because if you do, then any more drama you cause is gonna end up right here. So please leave us alone for the foreseeable future. I'm happy that your mom is finally able to see how your sister is a terrible person. And I really hope your sister loses her job because she certainly doesn't deserve it. And OP, I wish you the best. I certainly don't hope my sister loses her job. Because if she loses that job, she might just come crawling back to our parents. Sis, learn from this. When you're a crappy, worthless person without empathy, people will shun you. You've lost your family. All you have now is the mask you wear to trick unsuspecting people into falling into your orbit, and even that won't last forever. Congrats on ensuring you'll die alone, I guess. Oh dude, she's a narcissist. The whole world is against her. Sadly, NPD is practically incurable, and she will die mad, lonely, and bitter. She has to accept she's wrong, and you know, narcs are never wrong. I'm very glad to hear your mom has been able to actually realize that she hurt you both, because catering to your sister did her no favors, was able to apologize sincerely to you, and is working to repair the relationships with you and your dad. This step is a huge deal, so as long as she keeps making progress in this, I'd say this is something to be proud of. A small consolation for your sister is while she got the job because of your dad, the moment the old CEO died, she had to actually work to keep her job. So small accomplishment that might keep her from making the rest of you miserable. I did laugh that she tried the "I'm telling mom and dad on you" thing about your post. That works when you're like 6, not when you're an adult who lives in your own house with the dreaded bills in your own name that you pay with your own money. Finish growing up, girl, because running to mommy and daddy is not the problem solver like it used to be. It took mom 6 years though. If you read the older post, they had been indifferent to each other prior to this update. And honestly, as soon as sis wanted OP's number, mom gave it. I'm glad mom is finally starting to realize the damage, but she has a lot of ground to make up for to fix their relationship.